It's a wonderful opportunity to be here at ECPI. And today is Valentine's Day, and yes, we were talking earlier, I did remember, although I was like, what are you having a celebration? But no. But I did start my day off really, really good. I have a 6-year-old son. How many of you have kids? Anybody? All right, most people do. So I'm standing there getting the coffee ready, and I drink some coffee, make coffee at home, and then I go to McDonald's after that. So I'm on my second cup. But anyway, I'm making coffee, and I hear my son Landon, 6 years old, and he's like, Dad, and he's hit me. I'm like, what, Landon? And so I turn around, and he goes, look.
Oh, that commercial.
And I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, all the people are tax people. I'm like, did you see the commercial on the Super Bowl commercial?
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, look up Intuit Tax Super Bowl commercial. It is hilarious. So he still remembered it. So I still have a smile on my face from that. But the reason I'm here is because I'm passionate about helping college students, just like all of you, be successful using one simple breathing technique. That's it. Sounds almost too good to be true. And we're going to get into that. I'm going to teach you some skills. But this isn't just about me up here talking. I want to engage you. And I've got a little short activity that I would like all of us to do. And I'm going to pass out these index cards. Okay, so everybody take one. You could take one, pass it around. You could just take one and pass it around. Here. So what I would like you to do, once you get your index card, you could take out a pen or a pencil. And I want you to answer 3 questions, but don't take a lot of time, no more than 2 minutes. And the first question is, what is your unique gift? What is your unique gift? Okay? What comes to mind? Everyone has a unique gift, something that's special about them. The second question is, how does ECPI, thank you, fit into your gift? How does it relate to the gift that you have? So the first is, what is your unique gift? How does ECPI fit into or relate to or impact your gift? And the third is, what is your vision for the future? So what is your unique gift? How does ECPI fit into, relate to, or impact your gift? And what is your vision for the future? No more than 2 minutes. Don't take a lot of thought, just whatever comes to mind. What is your unique gift? Because we all have unique gifts. And how does ECPI impact that gift? And what is your vision for the future? And when you're done, just look up. And you don't have to write a lot. It could be just pretty short. What is your unique gift? How does the ECPI impact that? And what is your vision for the future? Okay, another 40 seconds. Finished? Okay. Now, what I want you to do is turn to your partner, turn to someone next to you, and I want you to share what you said. 1 minute each. No more than that. Share with them what your gift is, how CPI impacts that, and what is your vision for the future. So find someone to share with.
Okay.
Honestly, from the LPM program, it brings
Yes, I was waiting on him, but he's still working.
Okay, 30 seconds before you need to swap and then share to the other person.
I said my vision for the future is to build life forward, but to grow as an individual and also as an athlete.
Okay, so have both pairs shared? Have both of you shared?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Now, what I want you to do, and I'm sorry to rush you along, is I want you to share, somebody share an interesting kind of gift that your partner had. Don't share what you have, but share what your partner shared with you that you thought was interesting, unique. Yes, in the back.
This probably don't go with it, but my partner wants to open up a shelter.
Wants to open up a what?
Shelter.
Okay, a shelter. Got it. Excellent. Okay, that's wonderful. Yes.
Well, my partner, she's that type of friend you need whenever you need to talk to somebody. Yeah, that's neat, and they're very rare that somebody you can talk to and they gonna speak your business in the street like that.
Got you. So someone is trustworthy and a good listener.
Yeah.
Excellent. Another. Yes.
Mine wants to be a loving nurse.
Loving nurse. I like that a lot. That's very good. Yes.
My partner said she has a sense of humor.
Sense of humor. And a sense of humor comes in handy a lot, especially in the field that many of you are going to be into. And in the back, do we have someone? Yes. Press key.
My partner said she wanted to be a good mother, to provide for her children, to make sure that they have all the advantages that she feels she should have, which I thought was pretty remarkable. My kids are awful, so as long as they're fed and have a place to sleep, I've done my job.
See, there you go. We've got different parenting styles. Yes, some love their kids and others don't so much. No, I'm just kidding. No. These are wonderful, and I wish we had time to go through everyone's unique gift and what their vision is for the future. However, something that can derail all of this, that can get you off track, that can impact your future, is stress.
That's true.
Stress of being here at ECPI can be something that can derail you. How many of you get stressed out when you have a lot of reading to do by Professor Key? You have exams, you may have papers, you may have presentations. You have children. So this is just the stress coming from ECPI. And then once you're done, guess what? You're going to start getting in the mail if you took out loans like I did. You're going to have to start repaying that. So you have student debt. And you've got this, all right, it's time to pay up. That's very stressful, isn't it? I came out of school with $150,000 worth of debt. It was a mortgage and I had no house. And this is following me around for the rest of my life, pretty much. And I know many of you are also in that same situation. But the stress of going to school, because many of you thought, oh wow, I want to go in and I have an idea of what I want to do in the future. I have a career, I want to go out, I want to help people, I want to do this, I want to do that. And you thought that's what you were signing up for. But what you signed up for was more stress. On top of the stress you already have as being a mother, a father, a brother, a friend, right, a wife. You already, many of you may have jobs on top of having to go to school. And so all of this can really weigh in on you, and it can derail your dream, your vision of the future, because sometimes when we come under stress, things happen. And what happens is mental illness and physical illness can pop up. The research is out there and it shows. And in fact, the National Association of Mental Illness indicates that 1 out of 5 college students has a mental illness. 1 out of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we already got 2 or 3 people on this side and probably the same over here. And you think of it as layers. So if you have a mental illness, you have anxiety, you have depression, you have PTSD, whatever it may be. You already have stress from outside. You come to school, you've got this stress. It's like layers, right? It's like people putting bricks on top of you. And after a while, you can't breathe.
Preach.
Yep, absolutely. And so the American College Health Association indicates that anxiety and depression are 2 of the most common mental illnesses among college students. Anxiety and depression. And so we're not even talking about physical, we're just talking about mental illness. A lot of it is stress related. So you think you're coming across at the end of your program, you're graduating, you're getting a degree, and you've got a pocket full of medication that you didn't have before you started. Right? It's tough, and so that's why I'm here. But let me stop right there and let me give you a little bit of background about myself. So I have a PhD in clinical psychology with an emphasis in organizational behavior from the California School of Professional Psychology in Fresno, California. Anybody know where Fresno is? It's out in the Central Valley. Professor Key knows, yes, you know. So it's like right between LA and San Francisco. It's right in the Central Valley. Yosemite is in the backyard there. And I have a master's there as well in psychology. And then I have a undergraduate degree in psychology from Rutgers University. Anybody know what state Rutgers is in? New Jersey, yeah, right? Someone in the last school that I talked to said, New York. I'm like, no, you're close. You're right across the river. But no, it's New Jersey. And so having these degrees has given me an opportunity to work in a variety of different types of environments. I've worked in inpatient psychiatric hospitals. I've worked in outpatient. I've worked in school counseling programs, so working with students who have issues and come into the counseling program and working with them. Worked in forensic settings, worked in prison, worked at Corcoran Prison, where Charles Manson, who passed away about a year or two ago, was housed there when I was there. So, and I've worked with patients who are incompetent to stand trial. They committed crimes, but because they have a mental illness and they have little insight into what they did, they would come to us. And it was somewhat of a prison-like setting, and this was before Corcoran. Currently, I'm a full-time psychologist for Disability Determination Services here in Columbia. I'm a professor at Webster University's graduate program in counseling. Been there for about 13 years. I'm a life coach. I'm a mental performance coach with professional athletes, specifically in the sport of motocross. And I'm a podcast host. So I've got 2 shows on iTunes. So that's what I do. However, I share this, but it wasn't always that way. I almost did not reach my goals. Because when I went through school as an undergrad, I struggled. I felt an enormous amount of stress and strain on me. I suffered from depression, anxiety, and ADD, attention deficit disorder. And it was horrible. I was panicky when I had presentations. I did not like it. I sweated every time I had to go in and take an exam. It was terrible, and it all came crumbling down. One day during my undergrad, I was taking summer classes, and I remember it was a really hot day, hot night, and I was studying late into the evening, and as I was studying, I felt this pressure on my chest. I'm like, oh my God, what the heck is happening? I couldn't breathe. I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't make sense of it, so off I went to the emergency room. I'm an undergrad. I was young. Got in there, scared to death. Didn't have any family or friends with me. It was just me. They sent me home 4 or 5 hours later, saying that it was just a panic attack. It was stress. It was all the stress that really started to just land on me so heavy that I was sent to the emergency room. And I struggled throughout undergrad, and I struggled into graduate school, and it wasn't until I got into graduate school that I actually learned some coping skills. It wasn't until I went into therapy that I learned some coping skills. And one of those skills was the power of breathing, the power of what I'm going to show you a little bit later today. And so it didn't have to be that way. When I work with students at Webster University, I'm teaching counseling courses. Some of them will come to me after class and they're like, Dr. Laskis, I got this issue. I got this going on. I got this going on. I hear the whispers, and these aren't students that are identified by the program as having any kind of needs. They're not identified as needing accommodations because of something. They're floating under the radar. They don't want to be known, but they're coming to me behind the scenes. And they're like, I'm struggling. And so ever since then, I've made it a passion of mine to reach out and help students. That's what's been really driving and motivating me. Now, what happens when we become stressed out? So we have this umbrella, if you think of it that way, as the autonomic nervous system. Anybody ever heard of the autonomic nervous system? So we have the autonomic nervous system, and we have under that umbrella, we have the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous systems. When we become stressed, the sympathetic nervous system becomes triggered. The alarms go off, the floodgates open, and we get a rush of hormones. This puts us into what they call the fight or flight response. And when this happens, our pupils dilate, muscles get tight, our breathing changes, our heart rate increases, our blood pressure goes up, and we're ready to fight. Now, it doesn't have to be you're on the street and somebody comes up to you with a knife. It could be Professor Key saying you have an exam today, or you have a pop quiz, or you have a presentation. Our bodies don't know the difference. It gets triggered and we go into this panic mode. We go into this fight or flight. So this gets triggered and all of this stuff starts to happen. Now, one of the things that goes on in our body when we have this is we don't know many times what's going on. We can't think clearly, right? We're starting to suffer. And when we start to suffer, everything shuts down. We're not thinking straight. We're not doing well. We're not able to perform up to our level. And when students get to that point, many times they may seek help or they may not. And you may not finish your program. You may end up dropping out. Like, I just can't take it. It's just too much. It's just too much. And so that's what I hope that all of you will not have to deal with. So let me teach you the simple breathing technique. And it's called abdominal or belly breathing. Anybody ever heard of it? Some people have. And so what this does is just like the fight or flight, when stress triggers that sympathetic nervous system, the belly breathing triggers that what? Parasympathetic nervous system. So think of it as a faucet. When you get stressed, the sympathetic nervous system kicks in, the hot water's on. When you utilize a breathing technique, it turns on the cold water and turns off the hot. It resets it. And so this breathing technique involves one, so if everybody can just kind of sit back and just kind of relax for a second. And what you do, and I'll just, before I walk you through it, I'll do it myself, is you take a deep breath in through your nose. But one of the tricks is, and I already saw some people doing it wrong, is when your shoulders lift up or your chest pushes out, you're using the wrong cavity. You're using your upper diaphragm. Belly breathing is the lower diaphragm. So what should happen is when you take a deep breath, your belly should push out. So when you take a deep breath in through your nose, you can take and put your hand, rest your hand on your stomach, and try to push your stomach out, make your hand push out when you breathe in. If you're still feeling like your shoulders are lifting up or your chest is pushing out, it's because you're still trying to breathe up here. Many of us are just conditioned to breathe in this upper cavity, but this upper cavity is much smaller than the lower cavity. So when we breathe in through our nose, our stomach pushes out, we hold it for about 3 seconds, and then we exhale through our mouth. And we do it again, so let's breathe in through our nose. Stomach should push out, 1, 2, 3. Exhale through your mouth. And again, in through your nose, 1, 2, 3. Hold it, exhale through your mouth.
My stomach's supposed to go back in.
Yeah, your stomach will start to go back in. Now, it does take practice, and that's why I'm here. That's not why. See, many people think, well, I've been breathing for a long time. I know how to breathe. No, this is a completely different technique. We're used to breathing up here, and when we breathe up here, we do not get the amount of oxygen that we need into our system. Because what this does is when we use the belly breathing and we get more oxygen into our system, it gets more oxygen into your blood. And that blood goes to all areas of your body. Your brain, your muscles, your organs, all of that. And so it starts to reset your system. But when we get stressed and we're feeling under pressure, what happens to our breathing? It gets shallow, or there are even times we hold our breath. People often do that when they're taking exams. They'll hold their breath. And they're like, oh man, I just can't, my head's tight, I just can't focus. They're not breathing. So what this does is it brings in more oxygen. How many of you ever had the chore of blowing up balloons for a birthday party? Right? And when you get a fresh balloon out of the pack, is it easy to blow up? What do you got to do to get the air in it? Right? You got to stretch that thing. It's the same thing going on down here. When you're learning belly breathing, it takes practice. You got to stretch it out. And by stretching it out means that you're going to have to practice and do deeper and fuller breaths. So let's all try that together. So let's sit and we're going to close our eyes. So sit relaxed, close your eyes, and I want you to take a fuller belly breath than you took before. Okay, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, in. Hold it. And exhale out through your mouth. And again, 1, 2, 3. Hold it. And exhale. Now I want you to try to get an even fuller breath this time. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. All right, now you can open your eyes. Now, do you feel anything? Do you feel maybe a little more relaxed? Some people even report a little tingly kind of feeling.
Yeah, it's like a...
Right. Euphoric, exactly. That's because you're getting more oxygen in. Okay? And so that means that it's working if you start to get that feeling. And so this is something, again, that will reset your autonomic nervous system. It resets it. It triggers that parasympathetic nervous system. So one of the things that people are going to tell you is to use this when you get what? Stressed. But I'm different. I'm not telling you to do that. What I'm telling you to do and how I'm different is to tell, I want you to build this into your schedule all day long, every day. Change the way that you breathe. Because what's going to happen is, I call it the icepack theory of breathing, the way that other people teach it. They're like, okay, when you get an injury, right? You think you're out, you're playing basketball, you're playing some sport, you get a bruise, a bump, an injury, you twist your ankle. What do? You go get the ice pack, you put on it, right? You try to ice it down, and then it feels better, and you put it back in there, and you don't pull out the ice pack again until you need it, right? Same thing with a lot of people teaching this. Like, oh, well, once you get stressed, take it out of the refrigerator, and you do your breathing, right? And then when you get back to feeling good again, then you just put it away. However, what happens is many times we go through the day and we're up and down, up and down, up and down. We get stressed, whatever it might be. It might be your children. It might be Professor Key. It might be something else, right? And then you find your day is up and down, up and down. All right, I calm myself. But the way I like to think of my breathing technique is when you build it into your schedule, think of it as a prescription medication. When you take prescription medication, what does it do to your blood levels? What does it do? Keeps it constant, right? So when you build this into your daily routine, you're doing this multiple times every hour throughout the entire day, you're going to have a better chance of staying floating through, right? Instead of this up, spike, I'm stressed, okay, I brought it back down. Spike, I'm stressed, I brought it back down. So you can just go through your day, even keel. And that's how I'm different. Now, some of you may be thinking, come on, Dr. Laskis, this is crazy. All right, I've been breathing since I was born. Sounds too difficult. It sounds too challenging. Sounds downright ridiculous. But you know what? The Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine indicated that this breathing technique, similar to the one I'm teaching you, actually reduces depression, anxiety, PTSD, and stress-related medical conditions, which many of you may either experience or see in people that you work with. That's amazing. Also, his name is Dr. Dean Ornish. He is a Harvard University clinical fellow, and he is a cardiologist. And he has found that belly breathing not only reduces stress, and we know that stress and what it does to the heart can cause all kinds of heart conditions. He says that it can actually reverse heart disease. Wow. Reverse heart. What? That's crazy talk. But that's what he says. So, again, I know that this sounds a little bit difficult, but this is a tool for all of you to be able to use. And so I want to give all of you something. Yes?
What if you have a girdle on?
What if you have a girdle? Yeah, a girdle might make it a little bit difficult. It might make it challenging, but you know when you practice with that on, when you take it off, imagine how easy it's going to be. So, you never know. But what I'm going to give all of you at the end of this, which is pretty soon, is a cheat sheet of how to do this. And also, I'm going to share with you a link to a podcast that I did where it's a guided meditation. And so you can use this belly breathing in this meditation to help you to even further relax, so you can get it to a different level. And the only thing that I ask is I'm going to give you a feedback form here in a moment, and it has 2 questions on there. You'll be able to rate the quality of the information I shared with you, me as a speaker, and then there's a couple of lines where if you could write something that comes to mind that could help me show proof to other colleges and universities, hey, these students either like it or they don't like it. If you said something bad, I'm just going to throw yours in the trash. No, I'm just kidding. No, but this will help me spread the word, because my goal is to work with 1,000 students. Okay? So you're the 3rd school so far, and so I'm on my way. So you're part of this. Also, what I want you to do is I want you to share it with 2 people. This exercise with 2 people that you love, that you know, that could help them. And so anyway, I will go ahead and do that and pass out the forms.
That's going to be like an every morning thing.
Sitting in my chair doing it. I be stressed out the face.
And let me say something else right before I give you this. Is in the beginning, we talked about each of your unique gifts. You had an opportunity to write that down, and some of the partners were able to share that with the group, which is amazing. And so you have this new technique so that you can get through your program. I wouldn't say stress-free, because stress is just part of life, but you'll be able to manage it better. You'll have a better chance of getting through ECPI, getting everything out of it, and walking across the stage, and then going on and doing good in the world, and being able to take your gift to the world. Because there's a lot of people out there that want to experience your unique gift. This gives you the best opportunity. All right, thank you everyone. I'm going to pass these around. Thank you. Yeah.